Top 10 wildest weather events I've ever captured on camera. Number 10, Western Indiana, May 2025. On the heels of a cluster of storms that produced several tornado warnings and even a couple of confirmed tornadoes in eastern Illinois and western Indiana, this mammatus display was by far the most vivid, eye-popping, and richly textured mammatus I've ever seen in my chasing career. As the sun set, the colors only became more rich and vivid. Number 9, the infamous August 2020 Midwest derecho. Nobody knew at the time that this would turn out to be the single most expensive thunderstorm event in U.S. history, in large part due to its unfortunate timing coinciding with corn crops being tall enough to easily knock down but still not ripe enough to salvage. You can see here at Indiana Dunes on Lake Michigan, where I took this video, a pedestrian in the foreground attempting to escape the violent winds gets blown over and falls into the lake not once but twice. I didn't even notice this happen at the time due to my own struggle to stay on foot and not get blown over by the 80-mile-per-hour plus winds. It was only afterwards that someone pointed this out to me in the footage I captured. Number 8, this behemoth of a wall cloud in north-central Illinois, April 2020. At no point was the storm ever tornado warned, although you will, at one point, hear the tornado sirens sounding, because apparently the county decided to sound them anyway, despite the lack of a NWS tornado warning. You can see the wall cloud siphoning water vapor out of the storm's tremendous, sharply defined rain shaft. It appears as if the cloud is only 100 feet or less off the ground. This goes down as easily the most stupendous wall cloud I've seen that didn't produce a tornado. Number 7, this gorgeously colored evening supercell in western Indiana, June 2024. I don't recall this storm even being severe warned at any point, but it remains one of the most visually stunning supercells I've ever seen. Almost every color of the rainbow is visible at some point in some place within the supercell as it's illuminated by the sunset light. Number 6, this beastly tornadic supercell in central Illinois, May 2021. Earlier in this chase, the supercell had actually spun up a brief, weak tornado directly on top of me. The real standout footage to share here is of the storm's tremendous mesocyclone, with a ground-scraping wall cloud. Incredible contrast between the almost pitch-black rolling clouds and then clear sunlit air just in front of it. You can continuous rolling of thunder and creaking of a rusty windmill at this farm I stopped at made for one of the most eerie storm scenes I've ever witnessed. Number 5. This explosive anvil crawler lightning display on the backside of a cluster of storms in western Illinois, June 2024. Almost every one of these eruptions of anvil crawler lightning, or spider lightning as I sometimes call it, looks like it could be the cover of a Metallica album or something like that. Number 4, another evening supercell, this one in central Illinois in April 2022. The storm had a nicely structured mesocyclone with an active tornado warning for a while, and that classic tornado greenish yellow tint.
That's really got that kind of green appearance, doesn't it?
But the most jaw-dropping show came as the sun was setting and illuminated the backside of the storm with a color reminiscent of melted liquid gold or molten rock or lava. This was by far the most eye-poppingly vivid shade of any color I've seen in a storm ever. Number 3, the Delphi, Indiana tornado of May 2023. While standing outside my car observing a rotating wall cloud directly overhead, I suddenly noticed farm dirt and corn stalks begin to levitate and swirl around me, and I realized I was standing directly underneath a developing tornado. The tornado strengthened as it moved away from me, although it remained relatively weak and was never actually rated due to not impacting any structures. I noticed that its formation mimicked the formation of a violent wedge tornado. For example, the El Reno 2013 tornado. By the way, it formed multiple vortices that swirled and danced around each other before eventually congealing into one main circulation. You can see here the tornado may still have the appearance of just a large dust devil, but it was indeed connecting all the way to the base of the parent thunderstorm, as you'll shortly see here. I've seen around 14 tornadoes total in my storm chasing career, but the reason more of them aren't featured in this compilation is because most of them are just simply not that photogenic to include in a top 10 most eye-popping weather events video. This one was definitely an exception. It was extremely well-defined, high contrast, slow-moving, on the ground for probably around 10 minutes. Number 2, the North Central Illinois Tornadic supercell and lightning barrage of June 2016. This one is a bit of a throwback. At the time, I had an inferior quality camera and almost no video recording skills, and for that reason, a lot of this original footage I shot is borderline unwatchable due to me having shaky hands and blasting music from the radio, attempting to hold the camera with one hand, drive with the other, and so forth. I thought this still deserved second place in this compilation due to the tremendous quantity of cloud-to-ground lightning strikes that occurred throughout the lifetime of this storm. CGs were popping off at a rate of several per second over the course of probably the better part of an hour. Never seen a lightning show that remotely compared to this before or since. Number 1, the Linton, Indiana tornado, May 2025. Almost immediately after forming, this tornado became violent and took on multi-vortex features, as well as having one of the most textbook wall clouds you'll ever see attached to it. Here you can see a vortex writhing horizontally across the landscape like a snake or the tail of a dragon. And here the tornado takes on the notorious dead man walking feature of Native American mythology.
It's doing the dead man walking.
A pair of ghostly legs dancing across the landscape. After seeming to wane for a short time, the tornado really seems to hit the afterburners here. It begins ingesting a tremendous amount of farm dirt.
Can pull forwards if you need. Let me pull.
No.
Okay. No, this is significant. Oh, it's hitting something.
Here the tornado unfortunately directly impacts a homestead and shreds buildings like a wood chipper. Here's the tornado at full-blown wedge status, about to cross the road less than a mile ahead of us. Thank you for watching this top 10 wildest weather events I've captured on camera. Bye for now.